Jai Sri Krishna. This chapter, chapter 4, is on karma. In chapter 3, when Arjun asked Bhagavan Sri Krishna, after Bhagavan Sri Krishna got telling him about how important the karma is, so he asked a question that why people do wrong karma. That was his question. Why is it that men do wrong karma? Bhagavan replied that it is kam, which means desire, and krodh, anger, which are the root cause of this, doing the wrong karma. Here in this chapter, Bhagavan told Arjun that humans should perform karma under the guidance of Karma Yoga, and gave examples of those who followed this path which is prescribed for all humans, and they became Karma Yogi. Among those, Bhagavan named a few. He named Ikshvaku, Mandhata, and others. All these were taught, these people who he named, they were taught in their education the subject of Karma Yoga. It's not that it just happened by accident. They were trained, they were taught about it. Humans operating in sansar under the guides of Karma Yoga can achieve moksha while performing karma in this world. Bhagavan was trying to convey to Arjun that you are in sansar, so you should perform karma in a way so that it would not cause bondage. This was possible in Dwapar Yuga. So, but can it be done in Kali Yuga also? That's the question. It can be done as has been described by Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar, who is the Krishna avatar in present time. In today's world, the importance is given to actions providing sense gratification. The sense gratification, which is also called vikar, rather than uplifting of Atma. The pursuit of Vishaya of Indriya, the object of senses, cause vikar and makes one's Atma weaker. So when the Atma is weaker, it cannot break through the bondage of karma. Furthermore, the birth of Jeev is under bondage of karma. We all come here as Jeev, we come in this world under the bondage of our past karma. Whereas that of Ishwar avatar is divine, is not under any bondage. Jeev comes in a body made up of earth, 5 elements. And that is why it decays in time. But there is no decay in body of the divine. Bhagavan said to Arjun that my birth and my karma are divine, and one who knows this, he too does not suffer in this sansar. So the knowledge of Paramatma and his karma makes us so we don't suffer in this sansar. While doing the karma and living our life, we don't suffer. Having explained this, Bhagavan said, when Jeev comes into human body, only then Jeev can perform karma. The complete human body is also called karma bhumi, the field of action. All other bodies are for suffering the consequence of the karma. Bhagavan said, the person who performs karma in my name, that person is not bound by the karma. For this he gave an example of a servant who does everything according to the orders of his employer. So, whatever the outcome may be, it is not the responsibility of the servant or the employee. Similarly, the person who dedicates himself to Parmeshwar, all his karma is for Parmeshwar. Thus, he is not bound by them. So, when you work for somebody and follow their instructions, then they are the ones who are responsible, not the worker. Next, all karma takes place by the interaction of three gunas. These are Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. The mistake one makes is that he says, I did it, thus takes the ownership of the karma. He does so because of his ignorance, which is due to ego. Now we will take an example. Someone builds a wall. He uses bricks, cement, and water to build the wall. Each of the components has their own traits and qualities. The mortar made out of cement has got the quality to bind whatever comes in contact with it. Brick gives a strength, and water is key in making the mortar. So, in reality, the wall is built by the qualities of components. But one says that he has built the wall. He is just an instrument and not the doer. What built the wall is the qualities of the components. He just happened to be there in place, in time, so he put it all together and he learned that too from somebody else. It's not that he was born with that knowledge. He is just an instrument and is not the doer. He doesn't understand that. So what he says, what a beautiful wall I built. He takes credit for it. It is the ego in the person which says that he has built that wall. So whatever happens in the sansar happens due to three gunas, the prakriti. But due to the ego, one says that he has done it. And worse than that, everybody put blame on somebody else. You did it, that's why it happened. So not knowing that is the prakriti, three gunas of the prakriti which are instrumental in doing everything. When the ego does not appear in any action, the karmas become akarma, as if it has not been done. It happened, but it has not been done. In Shlok 19 through 23, Bhagavan said that those who live life in this manner, their karma are as if they have not performed the karma. While they are doing the actions, as if they are not doing it. They have offered everything to Parmeshwar. Therefore, they are not affected by the karma. It's just like a person, an employer working for an employee. Same thing here. So the person who sees a karma or the inaction in karma or the action is intelligent person among humans, and he is yogi and doer of the karma. He is doing the karma, but karmas are not affecting him. So he is intelligent and he is yogi. Who is such a person? He is the one who has become closer to Bhagavan, closer to Parmeshwar. He has been described in Shlok 19 through 23, which we did last time. We will briefly review these shlokas before proceeding further. So, who is this person who has become closer to Bhagavan? He is described in Shlok 19 as the one whose all undertakings start with no desire and no resolve. Kam sankalpa varjita, as if desire to perform a karma and sankalp, or the resolve to perform the karma, is prohibited for him. He cannot do that. So he does that, so it doesn't, there is no desire or sankalp. All his karma started in this fashion are incinerated by the fire of Gyan. Gyanan dagdha karmanam. And he is called Pandit by the wise people. Pandit is a person who possesses the power of separating the truth from the rest. Such a person is Jnani, whose 15 qualities we looked at last time. Now the question arises that how all of his karma get burned in the fire of Gyan. Bhagavan said, Jnanana dagdha karmanam. How does it happen? What does this mean? Associated with each and every karma, that is the karma of the sansar, there is a fault with it. Every karma of sansar has fault associated with it. How? All karmas are performed with senses. Without sense, you cannot perform any karma. And the senses perform karma in association with mind, man. Senses have twofold actions. One is the normal action, swabhavik action, karma. And the other is pap karma, or the action tainted with sin. So Indriya can do both actions. This is also called vikarma, or the karma not worthy of doing. Which one? The one later one. And this is also called vikar. That's what vikar is. We will look at an example of this. Let us take an example of the eyes. Eye is one of the senses we all have. The object of the eye sense is to look. Looking is the natural action for the eyes. It's just natural thing. Eyes will do. If you have eyes which are working, they will look. So the eyes wander and see whatever comes in front of them. And that is natural. But once one thinks about and revisits the same object again, that is vikar. Because he has thought about it now, what he saw, and he likes it or he doesn't like it, so he wants to go back and revisit the same object. And that is vikar. That is what pap karma is. That is how the problem, that is the fault in each and every karma. So senses have action which is correct and acceptable. But when the senses act on desire, that is called flaw, sin or dosh. Thus in karma develops what is called vikar. When the senses act according to desire, based on desire, they are performing the flawed action. And this is called vikar. This applies to karma of all five senses. It is the vikar which causes downfall of humans. When the person acquires the Ishwar Gyan, so how does Gyan burn off all the karma? So when person acquires Ishwar Gyan, the Gyan causes his desire as well as his resolve for action disappear. He doesn't go back and revisit the thing. He has no desire for it. He just say, yes, I saw it, and that's fine. He doesn't make any comment whether it was good or it was bad. This is like when a spark of lightning or fire can burn down a forest. Gyan is like a spark of lightning. It can burn down the whole forest. Similarly, the power of Gyan can destroy all karma. He controls his mind. The person who has Gyan, he controls his mind by giving up all desires, knowing that what he is to get, he will get. Whatever is coming to him, he will get. Nobody can stop it. he remains satisfied with whatever he gets from Ishwar and rises above the pair of opposite, the dwandas, like happiness and sorrow. In these 5 shlokas, Bhagavan explained to Arjun that one who performs action in this way does not get in the bondage of karma. The bondage happens when one is attracted towards the prapanch. People don't want to interact with human beings. The human beings don't like interacting with human beings anymore. More and more they are interacting with their gadget, their prapanch things. And that is what the problem starts. Thus, one who has jnana, while remaining in sansar, continues to perform karma and gets the gunas of Ishwar. Why? When he is doing Ishwar karma, he is earning the gunas of Ishwar. Ishwar, whatever guna Ishwar has, he is getting it because he is associating himself with Ishwar. Now in the next 10 shlokas, Bhagavan is telling Arjun the different type of yagna. And the yagna is also called, it is also a karma. People do yagna karma in sansar. So, and there are different kind of yagna. Therefore, each has associated with it the fault also. Because all the yagna is also karma. So, in Shlok 24, Bhagavan saying,
Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagno brahmanahutam brahmaiva tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina.
Brahmarpanam brahmahavir brahmagno brahmanahutam. The simple meaning of this shlok is that whatever offerings are made, brahmarpanam, whatever offerings are made, they are Brahm. Our feeling towards the worship is also Brahm. The fire is in which the ahuti is given is also Brahm. The material put into the fire are also Brahm. And the one doing the yagna is also Brahm. So when one believes that all is Brahm, he will in the end be one with Brahm. That's natural. However, it is not so. This is the simple meaning of the shlok. To get better understanding of this, we will first look into yagna. There are 2 kinds of yagna karma. 2 kinds of yagna karma. In one case, the karma needs to be done, and in the other case, it does not need to be done. Here, yagna refers to devta bhakti. We need to know about devta before we go into devta bhakti. And their bhakti also. Here, devta which are considered are likes of Indra, Vishnu, Shiva, etc. Generally, for most of the people, all devtas are same. Today, people worship anyone from whom they think they can get material wealth and pleasures. That's what people do. You can call devta by any name. It makes no difference. Devta is devta. Devta can take any name. There are differences in the mode of operation of devta. Devta bhakti is of 2 types. One method is in which no material or drav is used. This type of bhakti is done through the mind, where nothing is needed from the outside. However, most common bhakti performed are Devi, Vishnu, Shiva, etc. These are the names of Devta. In this type of worship, one needs chandan, akshat, rice, incense, offerings of edible fruits or stuff like that for the deity. These are the things which are needed to perform the yajna, devta bhakti. This worship is again of two types. One is called panchopachari, in which you use 5 items and worship in 5 ways. Panch upchar. And the other one is called shodsopchari. It has 16 upchars. In Hindu Dharma, these are 2 types of worship which are done. Worship means, or the puja means to give respect. That's what worship means. You say he worships this person. That means he really respects this person. The respect is practiced in 2 types described above. One is panchopchar and one is shodsopchar. In one, the respect is given in 5 ways, using 5 items, and in the other way, 16 items. And the processes are same. 5 processes in one and 16 processes in another one. So for these, one needs supplies. Without supplies, you cannot do these bhaktis. So these are called dravya yagna. In the worship where no materials are needed, the worship is done by the mind, in the mind. In this worship, one exercises control of senses from the inside. Such yagna is called antar yagna. So there are 2 types of yagna. One is antar yagna and the other is bahir yagna. Antar yagna is much superior to bahir yagna. There are other bhav in these. For this we will look at number of devtas, groups, and their hierarchy. We have to know that. There are 5 groups of devta. We will look at them from the high to the lower level as following. Group number 1, which is the highest group of devta, is Chaitanya and Vishwarup devta. Vishwarup devta is what Bhagavan Krishna showed to Arjuna. The second group is Ashtabhairav devta. They are the master of the Prakriti. The third group is Mahavishnu, Sheshai, the one who sleeps on the Sheshnag. The third one is Trimurti, which most people worship, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And the fifth group starts from Indra, Chandra, Surya, all the way to Yakshani. So there are 5 groups. For each one of these devta, there is their antar yagna and bahir yagna. Both are for each devta. So, we will take this shloka again. It says, Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmeva Taina Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. Without the knowledge of the above mentioned yagna, as to what is yagna, how many types of yagna are, what kind of worships are done, and how many devtas are there, and what groups are there. Without their knowledge, we cannot explain. But with this knowledge, we will explain as following. Brahmarpanam. In the worship, whatever is offered is Brahma. Brahma Havi. The oblation like butter or ghee, etc., is also Brahma. Brahmagno. The fire which is used is also Brahma. Brahmahutam, the ahuti, the offerings are made by Brahma. So one performing the yagna, where will he go? Brahma karma samadhina. By the man who is absorbed in action, which is Brahma. His action is also Brahma. He is also Brahma. So, Brahma ten gantavyam. Brahma ten gantavyam. With him, or by him, the action yagna done by him, in this way, Brahma verily should be reached. He should reach the Brahma. Now, this is a metaphor. Since there is no item in this, there are no items involved in this yagna. So this is a metaphor. We don't need anything from the outside. His yagna itself is Brahma. In this case, this yagna itself is Brahma. He sees Brahma inside of him. How does it happen? He sees Brahma inside of him, within himself. The Brahma who he is worshipping, he sees him within himself. Brahmarpanam. He makes offering to this Brahma who he is seeing inside, who is his Paramatma. He considers him to be his Paramatma. So he is looking inside and he is offering to that Brahma which he sees within. So who is the Brahma? Who is this Brahma? Here the Brahma is Chaitanya and Vishwarup Devata. They are the Brahma. So those who worship these two Devata, Chaitanya and Vishwarup, Chaitanya is Maya, they are worshipping Brahma. And Chaitanya Devata is everywhere. So he doesn't need to be having a place to worship. He can worship, just is inside of him, outside, everywhere. So he sees Chaitanya inside of him and he is worshipping within. Similarly, the Vishwarup Devata is all over the body, from head to toe. So he is always looking at Vishwarup Devata also within himself. So he is constantly looking at these Devata and worshipping them within. He doesn't need anything from the outside. So now this person who is seeing Chaitanya or Vishwarup inside of him constantly, uninterrupted, he is always seeing them. He needs nothing from the outside. He remains in samadhi. All his activities are happening within, from within. He doesn't eat, he doesn't need to sleep, he doesn't need anything. So all devatas are in the human body. So these two devatas are in human body. Rest of the devata are also in the human body. And this person sees them within. This is called antar yagna. Yagna which is going on within, inside one's own self, in own body. In Islam, Sufis do the same. They don't participate in any of the rituals. Same, this guy, he has no ritual to be done, no ritual needed there. And Kabir and Nanak also they were also antaryagna people. They were seeing their Isht within them. That is why Kabir says, Tera Sai Tujme, Jyon Pupan Me Baas, Kasturi Ka Mrag, Ban Ban Dhoonde Ghas. कहते Tera Sai, your Paramatma is within you. But like the deer, Kasturi Mrag, deer, looking for the sense of Kasturi, he goes around all over the forest looking for it, not knowing that it is within his own body. Similarly, Kabir says, Tera Sai Tujme. But this is for those people who have the antar yagna of devta. The example given above are of antaryagna, the example of Kabir and Nanak, which can be of any devta. They are not the examples for Vishwarup or Chaitanya. They are totally different. This example which I just gave you, they are not for Chaitanya or Vishwarup. They are for other devtas. Because that Chaitanya and Vishwarup devta, it doesn't happen in this yuga. This is given through a guru. This power is transmitted through a guru who already has that power. That is why Kabir sings the praises of Guru. Guru Govind dau khade, kake lago paye, balihari Guru aapki jo Govind diyo bataye. So Kabir was given that power by his Guru. And how they do it? They do it through the eyes. So the antaryagna which Nanak and Kabir received were that of lower level devta. They were not of Chaitanya or Vishwarup. They were not Brahma. Yagna. The one described in Slok 24 are those of Chaitanya and Vishwarup devta. The recipient of these vidya do not eat, have no bodily function. The ones who are received the vidya of Chaitanya or Vishwarup, they have no bodily function to worry about. Their means or the sadhan and the goal, the sadhya where they're going to get to, are one and the same. He sees his goal in all over his body, because those devtas are all over his body. Whereas in antaryagna of other devata, the example of that is Kabir and Nanak. For those people, their goal is different from what they are worshipping. So they say, I am the worshipper, I am worshipping this within me, and this will take me to somewhere else. So their pratiti is different. Therefore, their pratiti or the settled belief is not one. Their goal is different from what they see within. Whereas the one mentioned in Slok 24, their settled belief is one. This is what I am worshipping, and this is where I am going to go to. They identify what they see as Brahma. In the next Shlok, Bhagavan explains that antaryagna of different devata are different. So we'll do briefly that next Shlok, and then we'll continue that later on, because that is a long process here. So the next Shlok, Bhagavan is saying,
दैवमेवापरे यज्ञम् योगिनः पर्युपासते ब्रह्माज्ञावपरे यज्ञम् यज्ञेनैवोपजुह्वते.
So the yogis mentioned in Slok 24 were those of Chaitanya and Vishwarup Devata. Here it is about the other yogis. Here the first half of the Shlok is about the antaryagna of these other devatas, and the second part is about the bahiryagna of the other devatas. Apare means other, worshippers of other devata. Yogina, those yogis, Daivam Yagna Paryupasate, perform Daivam Yagna. So other yogis worship other devatas through their antaryagna. Whose antaryagna? Those devatas antaryagna. By saying this, Bhagavan separated the Chaitanya and Vishwarup Devata from the rest. In this slok, he is totally separated. In the second part, Bhagavan says, Brahmagna vapare yagyam yagyanevo payujyati. He's saying that those who worship through Bahir Yagna, what they do, here Brahma means Devata. So they perform bhakti in these yagna using the worldly items. So Bahir Yagna, you need outside materials like chandan or akshat and dhoop and naivedya. In this worship, one needs different materials depending upon which devata they are worshipping. Like, for example, if somebody is worshipping Shiv, they need dhatura, they need bhang and all those items to worship. That doesn't mean they consume them. Those are items needed to worship Shiv. In this way, Bhagavan describes all devata and their antaryagna and their bahiryagna. In summary, then, knowledge of devata is very important. Then the knowledge of devata is important because without their knowledge, you cannot do bhakti of devata. There are 81 crore, which is 810,125,010 devatas in each universe. Each of them has their antaryagna and their bahiryagna, different way of worshipping. They are all different. The topic of yagna we will then continue later on in the next time. It's because this continues in next 8 more shloks. So hopefully we can cover that next time. Jai Shri Krishna.